speaking of the transfer portal, leave that 5-star review. But
Yeah.
speaking of the transfer portal, we got Michigan basketball, an
Oof.
absolute disaster. Uh,
Oh man.
disaster it is, and I'm enjoying every second of it. But I'll give some pity to some of you Michigan fans who may be watching right now. Hunter Dickinson, the villain of, I can say the whole state of Michigan now. I feel like Michigan State fans hated him and his whatever emotes that he would put out to the world, and whatever he'd wear to these basketball games, and whatever he had to say on his little podcast. And now you have him leaving Michigan, and I'm curious. Are University of Michigan fans, are you guys gonna give him his flowers? Thank you for everything you did, or are you like, I no longer have to deal with your stupid bullshit?
I really think it depends on where he goes. If he goes in-state Big Ten, I don't think I could really root for him because I don't love the Big Ten. But if he went elsewhere, I'd give him wish
Zach
him the
Edey
best.
leaves and he goes back. It goes to Purdue.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? But no, it kind of threw me off. Obviously, it's the same day as the Jaden Davis 5-star quarterback commit. So I watched that
You think it was
commitment.
on purpose?
I don't know. I mean, it felt weird. You're enjoying that, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, I'm in the portal. And you're just like, oh. And then obviously after April Fool's Day, you get Kobe Buffkin to declare for the NBA with no chance to come back. So I believe these guys are all hiring agents. So your top 3 shooters and scorers from this year's team, which already was pretty bad, left. Jet, Kobe, and Hunter. And now you're looking at the program and you're looking at Juwan Howard and you're thinking,
I got a question.
yeah.
You think Jet even gets drafted?
Jet, I think he's a pretty good shooter. He's obviously got the Howard name.
Don't got defense.
Yeah, but I think in some aspects, a lot of NBA
I
guys don't need defense.
I saw a Bleacher Report post. This isn't that off topic. I saw a Bleacher Report post, and it said Jet Howard projected lottery pick
Mm-hmm.
declares for draft. How can a projected lottery pick, like how can someone be a quote unquote projected lottery pick when you can't make the tournament. You land in the NIT. So you're not even good enough to get your team into the tournament. Nonetheless, you lose in the Sweet 60. So you lose in the second round of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a quote unquote projected lottery pick. And not to mention, your team was better without you. Your team was literally better without you. Projected lottery pick my ass. And if he is, he's gonna be a bust. That's my quick rant. I'm sorry if it offended anyone.
I think he's a good shooter. Some people hated on him. I would love to have his presence on the court. I mean,
What do you?
yeah.
Did Michigan like it this year?
Right now, I think I'd take anything. I'd take anybody right now.
I'll take Tyson Walker. I'm just saying, if Tyson Walker's, I don't even care that Tyson Walker's older. If he's not a projected lottery pick, I mean, there's a reason he's staying.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
man, I guess for one's opinion, I guess whatever.
anyway, the state of the program is pretty bad. I think it's evident to anybody that follows. Look, Juwan Howard's got an opportunity to reset everything and kind of start from scratch. I don't think he's not gonna be fired obviously this year, and I don't think they'd fire him post contract or pre contract. Now that I'm thinking about it, because the expectations are pretty low right now, and the morale's pretty low in the
So
program.
not even next year, then. Is that what you're
It,
saying?
it would really
Because
depend.
because we had a little bit of an argument, and I said that Michigan should go ahead and fire Howard now. It's all blown up. It's like perfect time for a clean slate. And you said no, not until next year. And I said, and then you got mad when I said, if you give him next year, then you might as well give him another 3 years because he's going to need time to build something. There's no point to wait for him to suck like we all expect next year to then fire him. You might as well
Well,
just get started again.
let me say this.
Your only hope's the portal.
Yes, I think it's evident for that, but I also believe it depends who he gets. If he gets guys that he believe can be good and the expectations fall massively short, like let's just say he goes out in the portal, gets a bunch of like former 5-star guys, like really talented players, and then there's some expectation of something to happen, and he has a dud season. Maybe you say, okay, this just isn't going to work because you can't just keep cycling through the portal at some point. At some point, you're going to have to hit the reset button.
Do you
Um,
think I'm not trying to sound like a Sparty homer, but
really?
I'm really trying not to right here. But do you think that like he can even have success in the portal right now? Like you just saw his whole team just like give up on him. Like I would argue Kobe's not
It's be
ready
like
for the
that.
NBA. I would argue Howard's not ready for the NBA. And Hunter Dickinson, your best player the last 3 years left.
Hmm.
Like, do you think it like because you're gonna need more than one? You think 2 to 3 really nice core players are gonna be like, I think Michigan is a good place for me to go right now.
It depends, man. I mean, that's the part of it. Like he's gonna have to sell a lot of these guys. And look, we're trying to reset the culture here. We're trying to, turn around the program. Didn't have the season you wanted a year ago, and recruit certain guys. I know there's a couple guys that were committed to Michigan, or not committed, were thinking about Michigan in their initial high school, that committed elsewhere that are now in the transfer portal. Maybe you could go after guys like that. It all depends. He has to assemble a roster that you know, plays together. Because you're also getting some guys back that you had injured this previous year. Or, Joey Baker, I believe he's set to return. He's trying to get his waiver. And I believe Llewellyn's going to be set to return on top of Doug McDaniel. So those are probably your three core guys. Maybe, I guess you could say, Will Cheddar takes the next step. And then you also got Terrence Williams. But you don't have much in terms of depth. And you don't have much in terms of experience. So they really have to just find guys to fill in plug. I mean, look at what Kansas State did this year. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
the only scenario where you can turn it around. You have to go that route. You have to get guys that are going to commit to your program, that want to be there, that want to change. Uh, on top of having good players too. Obviously, I don't think you'll find a guy like Noel, but you need
The
somebody. You need somebody.
other tricky thing about the whole Kansas State situation, which I was actually gonna end this podcast with, but you stole my thunder. But uh the a little bit of the difference is Howard's been now coaching for a couple years,
Hmm.
and from what I remember, you can correct me because you're the Michigan guy, but
Yeah.
he went straight into the job, not from a previous college coaching job. So
Yes.
he jumped in the pond.
Hmm.
He didn't dip his toes in the water. He jumped in the pond, and now it's been going downhill ever since he replaced Beeline. It's slowly degressed since his first few seasons,
Hmm.
and the reason I mentioned that is this Baylor coach, or not Baylor, Kansas State coach, but I say Baylor because this was his first year. He came from Baylor, who had been coming off a couple really good seasons. He had been a good assistant coach over there. So he had the track record at Baylor, being successful, comes to Kansas State. He recruits based off of, look at my success over at Baylor. We can do this here.
Hmm.
And he has nothing tarnished to his name.
Yeah.
Now, you have Howard, who's been slowly falling apart. I just don't. It's just you're gonna have to really sell
Yeah.
these players, and
Yep. We'll see.
it's gonna be harder to do than what Kansas State's coach had to do, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, it probably will be, but if he finds the right guys and pieces, you can have decent season. But if you get portal guys that just come here, don't mesh, and aren't good, you have a very bad season. You're really just saying, okay, you might as well move on because at that point you're just going to continue to be finding portal guys. He has to have a good offseason. It's probably the most important Michigan basketball has had since going out and getting Beeline. So very important for Howard to do something this year, because the basketball program is in very big jeopardy of being bad.
Yes, and I'll leave it with this. What I challenge Howard to do is, in the past we've seen him chase the high star recruits, which are all good, but I think what he underestimates is he needs to find those high star recruits that chemistry and team bonding is important
Mhm.
to them. I don't know how much Michigan has had of that as late, That's a big emphasis in Izzo's program. That's why a lot of that seems to click, no matter the recruits. And that's why even when I see, I'm like, oh, we landed a 4-star. It's not a 5-star. Like, I
Mhm.
don't cry about it because, like, at the end of the day, I know Tom Izzo focuses on chemistry and personalities, and I think that's something I want to challenge Howard to do more of because I don't think he does it to the extent we see Izzo do it or some of these other great coaches.
Mhm.
Do
I
you
agree.
see Cal Perry fall victim to this all the time? I don't think he does it either. He just puts a bunch of talented guys out on the floor and expects wins.
Yeah,
And
I agree with you.
you need that chemistry. You need that team bonding. You need them to be playing for each other, not together. Well, you do need them playing together, but you know what
Yeah,
I'm trying to say. You need
yeah, I
them
do.
playing for each other, not just on the court together.